Good morning from Paros. So we left Crete behind. You saw me hiking up 2 mountains there in the last video. Now we're here on Paros, which is like a 5-hour ferry ride away. And I'm here in the most popular town, which is Nosa. And it's typically the Instagram spot here, there on this little jetty. And I've come here this morning to find some beautiful clouds, but I have to say it's hard to get a good composition because I'm trying to get those clouds into the frame. So typically I wanted to take photos over there from the jetty, focusing in this direction, but then with a light on this side, I figured I should make use of it. So I was running around a bit, trying to find compositions in that direction, having also the church there on the hill in the background. And I have here one composition which I like a bit, but have to tell later if I still like it on the big screen. But I have this little pier going in, then boats on the side, boats in the front, background, the church, and then the clouds, which look very nice. So I'm currently taking photos with f9.5 foreground and background. For the background I do bracketing, so I don't bother with filters this morning. And then also I go to f5.6 and ISO 200 to get 1/45th of a second, which I want to use for the boats because they're shaking a little bit and I want them frozen in the picture. So I later combine those. So the longer exposures, which are like half a second and then, or quarter of a second, and then the ones with 1/40th or 1/30th of a second. And I should get a nice photo, hopefully, which I show you now. And then I'm gonna rush into the streets because as the sun gets a little higher, those streets, they're really beautiful. But if you're ever here, don't come here to take photos in the evening. I mean, in the evening you can go over to the pier, take long exposures of the town, but the rest of the town is very crowded, so it's really busy. And on this island there are further spots which I want to explore, and I'm gonna take you along. But now I have to rush a bit because the light's really nice that morning and I have to make use of it. So it's still the same day, I'm still on Paros, and you might notice behind me the camera pointed at a quite unusual angle for me. I'm not photographing what you see in that direction, the obvious subject, the lighthouse here in Paros Park, which is what I really came for. So this noon or around noon I did a scouting walk here, and yeah, I was looking for compositions where I could include the lighthouse. I found plenty of those. Problem is, you see, all the clouds are gone again, which I already anticipated. So what I also did, I looked for some scenes which wouldn't require any clouds. So what I can try to do, I can zoom in on the landscape, try to exclude the sky, or I can look for some more abstract photos, which is what I'm doing this evening. So you see all around me here are very beautiful rocks with different colors, holes in them, different structures. So it's really a paradise for abstract photography. So I'm doing that now. Here I have a first composition of such rocks where I have some beautiful colors, some holes, some shapes. And now as the sun gets lower and lower in the sky, the structures come out more and more. And that's what I'm waiting for. That's why I'm here this evening. I will now walk around and look for such shots. And this is also something you can do. So if the sky just doesn't deliver, either try to take photos with a longer lens just of the landscape and exclude the sky, or look for those close-up scenes, which you won't find everywhere. So for me, it's always hard to find those, but I try to stay open. When I explore landscape for the wider views, I also look at other things which are characteristic for the landscape and see if I can make a photo where those characteristic shapes or tiny things fill the frame. And here it's just those rocks are really what's characteristic for this landscape, and that's what I'm trying to use to fill the frame. Let's see if I'm successful with that. I'm now gonna walk around a bit, try to get some different compositions, but I think this one already looks quite nice. And I also want to see how those scenes develop when the sun gets lower and lower in the sky, and later when there's only the reflected light. So hopefully I get some good photos. So another morning here on Paros. What you see behind me is the town of Lefkes. Behind that, the coast, and then the island of Naxos. So a very beautiful view, which I scouted yesterday. And I came up here this morning to photograph the transition from blue hour into dawn, sunrise. So this shot is not so much about the lights in the town, it's more about when the light or the sun shines in there from the side. Now what I'm doing, let me head over to my camera. I've set up a vertical frame, which I don't do very often, where I have the town, then those hills in the background, then the coast, and then the island of Naxos, and at the top, the beautiful colors in the sky. So yeah, this shot had to take some time during scouting to find the right spot, because if you Google for photos taken of Lefkes, you find a lot of them, but most of them have some power lines in the frame or other distractions. And I was looking for a perspective without any distractions. So I went along the road here, which you see behind me, looking for the perfect spot. First I thought it was this obvious one here, but unfortunately someone has parked some kind of trailer down there. So I can retouch it later on. But currently also here the foreground, those bushes are very close. So if you're shooting with a long lens, it always is trouble later stacking those. So I opted for this perspective here, which is a little farther to the side, where I just have bushes farther away from the camera than the town and, as I said, the landscape. So yeah, I'm currently taking this photo. As long as we have those colors up in the sky, later as the sun gets higher, the colors disappear. I will opt for a horizontal frame, and there I will completely exclude the sky. So I will end the frame just at the mountain line there at the horizon. And then I have the sun shining in from the side. At least that's the plan. So it should be up there somewhere on the left. And yeah, hopefully take a good photo. Only problem is currently the wind. So now I'm still at exposure times of a few seconds, and we have a lot of trees there in the frame, and I don't want them to be completely blurry. I want detail throughout. So I'm waiting a bit longer, upping the ISO, and then trying to take a few shorter exposures to later blend in. Otherwise it doesn't look so good. Ideally I wouldn't have some wind. So if it doesn't work out today, maybe I return tomorrow, because it's really a nice view. But now I'm gonna continue taking a few photos, and yeah, let's see what else I'm gonna photograph. Maybe this is the last photo from Paros. I'm not yet sure. And the next island will be Milos, so not far from here. And there I have also some different shots in mind, so some different landscapes. So yeah, the travels through Greece continue. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here, or if I'm taking another photo on Paros, I continue it. Otherwise, see you on Milos. Bye.